Today I'm reviewing Ronald Malfi's Small Town Horror. Overall, it's a really solid horror story. It's about 400 pages and well worth the price. It follows a group of 5 friends with one protagonist, Andrew Larimer. He's a big shot lawyer in New York City who has escaped the small town that he grew up in and has a really good marriage. He's about to have a kid. Everything is on the up and up for Andrew, with the exception of one key thing. He's terrified that something is going to happen to his baby, or it'll be a stillbirth, or just all of the terrible things that can result with complications in pregnancy. And this is really starting to affect him in compound, so he's trying to keep it under wraps as best he can so that it doesn't affect his wife. This all coalesces when he gets a call from an old friend back in his hometown asking him for help and saying that he needs him to come right away. And this kicks off the series of events throughout the book. I won't spoil the story any further, but just like it, we get several flashbacks in between the adults and the children, specifically an event that happened on 4th of July when they were 16. And that is kind of the inciting incident that all of the other terrible things in the book kind of branch off of. Over the course of the book, we find out exactly what happened. It is very much influenced by Stephen King's It and by I Know What You Did Last Summer. There are a lot of direct correlations, whether the 4th of July date or kind of the popularization of the adults coming back to the hometown, that there was some kind of horror when they were kids and they have to face this evil now as adults, has become a popular trope, and for good reason. It's really effective and it is really well done here. This video doesn't have a sponsor, but if you'd like to support me making more videos like this, my book Ashwood is out right now. It's a supernatural thriller with a touch of psychological and supernatural horror. It's set in the late 1980s in a small town in the Ozark Mountains in rural Arkansas, and it follows 5 kids as they uncover a series of strange disappearances and a conspiracy throughout their town. It's 500 pages. It's based on a series of cold cases from Arkansas in the 1980s and takes inspiration from Stranger Things, Stand By Me, and Twin Peaks. For YouTube viewers only, I have a special sale going on right now. It's 20% off if you use the link in the description. That's 20% off if you click the link in the description. Thank you so much. Let's get right back to the video. Ronald Malfi does a great job at gripping you throughout the book. I finished this book in one sitting because I could not put it down. Between this and Exiles last week, I've been eating super well, just prime steaks. This is a Bram Stoker Award finalist. It also won the Barnes & Noble Best Horror Novel 2024 and an Esquire Best Horror Novel 2024. So if that's the thing that pushes you over the edge to getting the book, there's that. Throughout the book, they also play with the idea of it being of there being ghosts, or it being a ghost story. They see visions of one character in particular. It really does a masterful job of writing the line in between the grounded and the supernatural. The story is told from Andrew's first-person perspective, but it also switches to little bits of third-person perspective throughout, which is really interesting, and it allows for some really cool stuff to be done, even at the start of the story, but especially later on as it builds and as the tension builds. You slowly unearth more secrets, and it allows for some really weird, surreal stuff to be done that hints at what comes at the end of the book. There is an amazing third act twist that was perfectly set up, and all the pieces were lined up in place for that. It was masterfully done. I was very impressed. I had to sit back from the book for a second and just think about it after I got to the twist, because it is good. As someone who really loves a good, well-done twist, especially a good third act twist, and this twist very much recontextualizes all the previous events of the story and a lot of the weird things that our protagonist does, because he's not necessarily a likable character, and it provides a lot of answers for a lot of things like, that's weird, I wonder why he did that. It was really good, and it rides the line between the realistic and the supernatural very well. I always enjoy that with books, when they're able to maintain kind of that edge where this could be explained away, and then by the end they choose to go one way or another. And Small Town Horror absolutely chooses a path by the end of the book. I also really appreciate that the title Small Town Horror comes into the book in some very interesting ways. There's a lot of times where authors will just have them say, oh, that's the name of the book, or that's the name of whatever. But it was actually incorporated very well into the story with the actual small town horror isn't something supernatural, but it is the level of negligence or corruption that is often found in these small towns because of the community that arises from there. And as someone who absolutely prefers a small town to a city, I found it very interesting, especially with the freedom that our main character finds in somewhere like New York City, which I've been to and lived in for a period of time. It is a dark story with a lot of bleak elements. There's a lot of, I definitely wouldn't say it's for the squeamish, but if you're into the horror genre, I think it would be right up your alley. I really thoroughly enjoyed the book. Huge hats off and applause to Ronald Malfi. And I would give this book I was originally going to give this book a 7 out of 10, but with the third act twist, I think that is so well set up, and there's so many things that wrap that up, that I think that elevates the story for me to an even higher level than it would be. I think I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to do all the YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the review or the book if you've read it, and I will see you in the next one.